properties. Microphone in. Yeah, I think now you can hear me. Okay. So the requirement is simple. We need to check again with our use case. Let's go ahead and see with respect to this. So again, in this, there are two meetings that are being connected. Who's joining in what? Why people are creating new meetings? They just you will just divide. See that? Don't divide. Okay, we have team notes, task capture. Okay, let's see what is task capture and how did you do. What is this? Okay, process definition document. This is good. So we have nice open calculator for each row in Excel. Input click operator, second input equal to button, extract copy result. Okay, out of the scope. So do you know what is out of the scope normally in PDD?
Actions which cannot be automated.
No, actions that are not related to RPA or our automation. For example, if we automate calculator, suddenly if calculator has a new version, it's not RPA team's responsibility to upgrade it to a new version. Okay. It's not the maintenance of the application is not within our perspective.
Okay.
Okay. So there is no to be process. I think to be process is what you need to add.
Vajrang, one question is when SDD will be prepared, because we prepared only PDD, right, for this?
Yeah. So if you want to prepare SDD, like you can take a sample and you can update it, but SDD will be prepared at the end of the flow.
End of the flow.
End
Okay,
of-
after even development.
Yes, because there
Okay.
we will see what have been developed. It's not what is to be developed in SDD.
Oh, okay, fine.
Okay.
I'm not aware, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So there are two ways. Like even in SDD, like you can prepare it before just to tell to the team that okay, this is what you're developing, and at the end you will give a complete SDD with all the changes.
Okay, why SDD is actually needed?
Okay,
I
so
mean,
in PDD, okay, let me just show you the SDD sample. That's how you will see. If you ask me, I'm going to tell you the answer, but it will kill the time. Okay, be ready for
correct.
that.
Sure.
GitHub. Okay, so repository show in Explorer. Okay, we have this and team 6 STD assistant. We have STD assistant. So this is the STD that we have created in the previous team. Let me just give it to you. Okay, guys. So whatever you see in the PDD process definition document is to make sure that you understand what is the requirement and what is the to be process.
Yes.
Okay, but in PDD, sorry, in SGD, this is different. Okay, I still opened the PDD. Don't say. Yeah, this is SGD. Now this is solution design document. Okay, this is for random
It is
user.
created by?
It will be created by developer. Business analyst.
PDD is created by
Business
business analyst, right?
Yeah.
So during the interview, should we say that we created PDD? Because it is a business analyst
Sometimes because
task, right?
we don't have a specific business analyst within our team, so we need to create our own PDDs.
Okay, if we don't have a business analyst in our team, so who will be gathering the requirements?
You will be gathering the requirements.
Okay, directly from the client.
Exactly.
Fine. Okay.
Okay. So if you
Okay.
see here, automated process, we are talking about automated process details. It's not what is to be automated.
Okay.
And
Process
what is the
details.
robot type? Is it unattended or attended? Is it background?
Okay.
Is orchestrator used? Is it scalable? Which version of UiPath used to develop it? Okay. Now, what is the architecture structure of the this project? We have
Mm.
automation library, mail activities, and Excel, UiPath robot, and so this is complete architecture. Like this is what we are using for our project.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. And here, if you see production environment details, which machine is it running on? What are the prerequisites? Should
Mm.
email Outlook be installed already in it? What is the input
Okay.
data that required? What is the output data that's required? So that PDD is used to create a solution. SDD is used to tell what your solution is all about.
Okay.
Solution design document.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So again,
So PDD has to be approved by customer before we start development.
yes, and SDD will be approved by your team lead after you complete your development.
Okay.
Okay.
Understood.
So again, see in PDD we will not have this workflows, right? How many workflows are there, and what are their
Mm.
arguments? What is the requirement of this particular argument? So all these details you need to mention. Everything that is there in the workflows.
Okay.
Vajra,
Yeah.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm. Tell me.
Suppose I have a team of 10 members, 10 developers,
Mm-hmm.
who is developing a particular project.
Mm.
Then how they can means how they can involve in the SDD? Whether they have to create SDD by combine of one SDD means how, or each and everyone have to means write the SDD whatever they have
See, in any
developed.
scenario, there will not be any more than two persons who will be handling one single process. You cannot have it,
Okay,
and even if you have it, it will be segregated or combined by one person.
okay,
Okay, so if you are a team lead, then you will collect all the subflows, and you will create your own flow, single flow. Okay,
okay. Means team lead will be to do
it's
that.
not only team lead. That's what I'm telling about. It's not only team lead. Someone who is responsible for this development. If I say that
Okay,
John is the responsible person for automating this calculator, then he need to be in touch with you to get all the solution and get things done. And whatever reusable components you have created, he need to take it from you and he need to integrate it within his solution.
okay,
Okay, so that's what. And what are the dependencies for our solution? What is the version number of it? So all these details will be prepared in the solution design document. Hope you understand now.
Hello.
Yeah.
If UiPath having a tool regarding the SDD document also regarding for PDD document task capture available. So for SDD.
Good question. So UiPath doesn't have a tool, but there is a marketplace tool, UiPath Marketplace. Again,
Okay.
this will just give you the template, but if you take my template, it's the same one. So SDD template, SDD preparation template. So you have only one SDD assistant. So that is the one that we have used in the previous team as well. This SDD assistant. So what we will do, we'll start the process and we will give our project code into it.
Okay. Okay.
So if we give our project code, then it will create all the subflows and all the arguments. It will create it for us. And this is the template document. Okay, do you want me to add it to our... So it's there already in GitHub, but if you want me to add it in our files, I'll just add it. So you can just quickly check and
Vajra, is it okay to give the project, entire project to the SDD assistant because of client confidentiality?
what is the question?
Is it okay to give the entire workflow to SDD assistant?
SDD is in your local machine. It doesn't send any data to cloud servers or anything. It's just any workflow in your
Okay.
machine, in your code. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, here we have SDD, and I'll give you the template as well as the one that we have prepared. Okay, go ahead and check it out. Okay, so enough of questions. Don't ask any more question for next half an hour, please.
Okay, okay.
Okay, okay, guys who are able to create reusable components or custom components yesterday, can you please uh, raise the hand? Yeah, Hemanta, I just stopped everyone to ask questions. Thank you. Abjit, only one? No one have created Wald, Chandrika, okay. Amol, great. Panna. So what about remaining members? I just downloaded your attendance sheet for today. Let's see why people are not joining. Okay, a good number, 12. Okay, fine. So what we will do, we'll just create a calculator. We have already calculator in our place, right? Go to repository, view on GitHub. We already have it. Okay, Vajrang Team 7 and week 1 use case calculator. So no need to check my code. All you need to do is you need to take input from from a file, okay, or else you can do your own input, or you can say that okay, I read some Excel, I'll do, and along with me you too can do. How many of you are ready to install UiPath Studios in your machine? Please confirm. Just drop a message, yes, I need to install, in the chat, please. Okay, Brew. Okay, great. So except Preview, everyone might have installed. So Preview, just go ahead and check it out. We need you to install UiPath Studio. Okay. So I'm not using any custom component here. I'm going on plain activities. Okay. So here is my project, and I'll create an Excel file. You too can create your own Excel file, or you can use one that I have created. Let me just add an Excel file for you. Where is my code? Yeah, there is my code. So these are my inputs. I'll just copy them and paste them in the code. So how I have my inputs, and I will send these inputs to everyone in the chat. So go ahead and download them. Keep your UiPath Studio open. Yeah. So this is the one I need. I have inputs. I have operand. I also want a result. So for now, there is no need for you to write it back to the Excel. That's fine. You can just send out a print message, or you can just log it out, stating that you have completed it. Okay. So check with this. I have sent you the inputs. Just download them and then use it. Okay. I'm also using them. So let me know once you start working on the code. Activities. The first one that I'll do is I'll use my classic activities because I have pretty good understanding with workbook activities. Do you know what is the difference between workbook activities and classic between Excel activities?
Yes.
Okay, I need an answer because I don't know.
Workbook is even when your Excel is not installed, you can still work on it. And for Excel, you should use an Excel application scope. And the workbook, if the workbook is opened, you will not be able to perform the action.
Wait,
Like
wait.
you cannot run it.
You're telling what are the differences,
Okay.
right? Okay, what is the
Yeah.
exact, how exactly workbook activity will work? How can it work without Excel being installed in our code or in our machine? So this is 10 Feb 2022. So we discussed about on SDD. And what else did we discuss on? Okay, we'll check it later. There is one more thing that we have discussed. Okay, working on calculator code. Okay, so there's a discussion which is workbook activities and Excel activities. So, do you know that in UiPath you can send out an email without Outlook?
Yes,
SMTP activity.
possible.
Sorry?
Do SMTP activity.
Exactly. So, Outlook email in UiPath. Okay. So there is a relation between both of these. That's the reason I'm bringing this up. So, okay. Now in email in UiPath, there are multiple things. First one is SMTP. Second one is POP. The third one is Outlook. The fourth one is Exchange. And there can be other things. Okay. So for Outlook, to use Outlook activities, do you need Outlook to be installed or not? Unmute. Okay, guys, please don't unmute. Sorry, please don't mute me. Someone is muting me. Thanks. Okay. So using Outlook, we need to have Outlook installed in our machine. Okay. So UiPath interacts with installed Outlook application to send or receive data. So what exactly it does? It communicates with Excel, but not with any other thing. Sorry, it communicates with Outlook, but not any other thing. Okay. But you can send SMTP. SMTP is used to send emails without Outlook. So SMTP is a protocol. Okay, leave about what is protocol, but in POP you can read emails. Okay, other than this you cannot do anything. See, there are limitations, right? But using Outlook, what can we do? We can send emails, we can read emails, we can move emails, delete emails. So all these activities can be done with Outlook because here UiPath is not working, but Outlook is working and UiPath is using Outlook. Okay, so if you want to use Excel activities, you are using inbuilt Excel application. Here we are using Excel application, but not the exact code. So if you see SMTP, the code is already written as a library. Okay, yesterday we have created our own custom library, right? Is it not? Have we created our custom library or not? Using add, and we add
Yes.
there is a functionality for that library, right? In the same way, Workbook activity deals with MS Corlib. Okay, what is, let me just confirm it for you. Oh, workbook activities. UiPath. Okay, so there are limited number of activities using workbook. If you just go into UiPath and if you see,
లాగలా తెలుసా
yeah, తెలుసు
తిమ్ముడు
but
పడిసే
ఇంట్లో ఉంటే
చూడు
better.
ఇలాగెత్తే నీ చేత్తోని
Yeah, thank you, Tejas. Okay, so workbook. So if you see here, there are very less activities when we consider with workbook activities, append range. So there are only basic activities. Okay, but using Excel, you can add more activities in it, and Excel will work for you rather than UiPath or libraries. So that is one of the difference. And yes, to use Excel activities, we need Excel in place. But for workbook activities, you just see workbook activities uses libraries to work, but not the Excel application. Okay, if I want to answer this question, then how would I answer? Let's just check. Difference between Excel and workbook activities. Mute. Okay. John, don't unmute if you don't want to talk. Okay, here we go. And let the answer come in. So in UiPath, we have Excel as well as workbook activities. The main use of workbook activities is if in case there is no Excel installed in our client machine, but still we want to operate or we want to do some basic activities like reading the data, appending the range, or adding information or adding Excel values. But there are limitations as well because we will not be able to create new sheets, we will not be able to move new sheets, we will not be able to rename new sheets. So what workbook activities will actually do is they will use the libraries in our operating system and they will create Excel files or XLS files. But in Excel activities or Excel application scope, we need to have Excel installed. So UiPath will communicate with Excel application rather than working directly with the file or this Excel file. Were you able to understand this answer? Please give a yes, no in the chat. Yes, thank you.
Sir, workbook also work in protected sheet also, na? Sir?
Yeah,
If,
correct.
if we don't have password, yeah, anything also.
Yeah, you can use. See here. Read range you can use, read cell formula you can use, read range, anything. So I'll be using read range. So if you just go ahead and see in the properties, so you can see here, if you want to add a password, you can just add a password.
Okay.
Okay.
Also, one more. Actually, in Office we have download .xls files.
Mhm.
So if we want to work, we just convert. Just go to info and convert into calculate mode. So using UiPath, we can do the same. Uh,
There are activities to convert XLS to XLSX. You can do that.
y- so any activity name
Just check it
available?
out, search it out.
Okay, okay, sir.
Yeah. So here we have input dt underscore input. Okay. So guys, do with me. That will be easier. So all I need is, see, don't think that you are converting an Excel or you are doing only calculator. We'll be doing more on it. See, I said you calculator example and we discussed it for 4 days, close to. It's not about click activities and all. There is more on it. Okay. and then here we go, Excel, and
So Bajrang, like read range for Excel and workbook, like what is the difference? Like both are same.
yeah, both will give you the same data, but in read range you need to give directly the file path. If you use Excel, you need to use Excel application scope, give the path, and then use sub activities for it.
So I can use any one, like it will work, right?
Yeah, it will work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next. So I'll use according to the flow. So let's just see how people will use. Can you guide me how to do the next steps, everyone? What should I take next?
Open calculator.
Open calculator. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I have open calculator. Now what should I do?
I
So
think we
then
have.
it should use attach window part.
Just a second.
So then after we use for each row. For each row.
So what was I saying?
For each row.
No, you asked me to use for each row. Okay, I'll use for each row. Is it for each row or for each row in data table? What is the difference? Which one should I use?
For each row, sir.
In
For
data
each
table.
row in data table.
No, so what is for each? So what is the difference between this and this activity?
Sir, for each can iterate in any collection.
Mm-hmm.
We need to specify the object regarding that.
Mm-hmm.
And but for each row is basically iterate the data in data table.
Super. Correct answer. So here in for each row, I can give only data table as an input, but for each we can give any list of items or collection of items. You can do that. Okay. Now what I need to do?
Bajrang, so what is like data table? Like whatever the inputs we are taking from Excel, that
Yeah,
is
that is the
data.
data table. Okay. Now what should I do? Next activity. Be fast.
I think we have to open the application now.
Okay, application is already open.
Now,
Assign activity use. We can use three.
What is that? I
Get
didn't
to
get you.
it.
Three assign
Get
activity
to
for
it.
first input, second input, and for operand.
Okay, so there are three inputs, but you already have data in the row, right? So for every row you will have the data. Why do you need inputs again?
Screen capture.
Screen capture for what?
So we can use here attach window part.
Okay. Okay, attach window. Attach window will attach what?
Calculator, sir.
Attach window. So attach window
Right.
you are
We
saying.
can perform action on calculator.
Since we are using calculator, okay, I'm attaching window. Now what I need to do?
Bajrang, first you need to get the batch. Type into click activity.
So I need to get the values. What values should I get?
The values in each row, like the inputs and the
That I can get it here, right? So if you see here, current row, so it gives me one single row. If I just log message, okay, I'll just use current row of 0. That is the first column, okay, and then plus plus and current row of 1. So this will give me the second one, and the third one will be current row of 3. Do you want to see the result? Let's see it. Run file. And one more option, if you have Excel open, can you work with workbook activities?
No, no.
That is one of the answer that you can tell. Okay, because we are dealing with libraries, and we cannot have a separate scope that's open. Okay, so in output, can you see 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3? So all the outputs are available in current row. So for every row you get output here. Okay, now what you need to do? Josna, you said for each row in table, then after that what?
Type into.
Type into? Okay, where should I type
You
into?
need to use a click activity.
No, not.
Sir, anchor related. So using selector.
Okay, you're actually confusing me. So what I'll do, there is one more new concept that I'm bringing in, guys. Just hear properly. That is object repository. Okay, so what is object repository? I'll explain you later, but just see this. I'm just adding. So this is again like a UI Explorer. So capture all the elements, indicate application, select all, capture. This is nice, right? So instead of I go and click on each and every activity in this, UiPath actually does it for me. Now, what is the use of object library?
If in your organization you are using one application in different projects, then you can create object library.
Application version is 1 and calculator app. So let's assume that today we use this calculator, but in future in version 2, you remember that small calculator that we used to use? Small calculator that would be there here in previous versions of Windows. For example, if we convert to that, okay, now there are multiple places this app will be available, right? This button will be available. Now, element, you can directly click on this. So see here. Now what you're telling, can you please confirm back what we need to do? We need to click on one button. If it can be calculator or row 1, if you can see the output, we need to click on 1 plus 1. Is it right? So do I need to click 1 here? Guys, please confirm. How many of you are confused with this object layer repository? If you want, I can stop it right away.
Myself. Object
No, sir,
repository.
it's a good one.
Okay. See, there is nothing to get confused. Instead of I go into each and every activity, if I go and click, okay, I'll still be able to click, right? And see here, what I need to use. I need to target some element.
Yes.
Okay. But for this, there need to be a application, use application or browser activity. It's not attached window. So this is a previous version. It's not modern activity, by the way. So what I'll do is I'll just uncheck modern activities, or I'll just use click. I'll use mouse click. So here we have, instead of in mouse click, we have this click, classic UI automation mouse click. So I use this. Now I'll go with this one and I'll select this particular element, 1. Okay. So after 1, should I need to add plus or anything for here?
Yes.
Okay. Let's just also add. Okay. How many of you know about partial selectors and full selectors? So they are concepts that are coming in on the fly.
Yes.
Just go ahead and understand selectors. There are 2 types of selectors, partial, full selector. Okay. So what is the difference between partial and full selector?
Partial is only a limited number of attributes are selected, whereas full selector is the complete attributes. When you're working on different windows, you need to have a full selector. When you're working on within window, you should need to have a partial selector.
There is also dynamic selector. Guys, you need to know basics. Don't think that you can get everything without basics. Okay. So just go into the documentation. I'll give you the documentation link as well. Okay, just check it out. But yeah, I'll also explain what is partial selector and what is full selector and what is dynamic selector as well. Okay, and here you go. If you see this calculator and if you open this one button, edit selector, can you just observe quickly that this is in shade? Like there is a difference between these values and the top one. Application frame host, this one. Can you see it clearly or not?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, so this is coming from this particular application calculator is coming from the parent. It's not coming from this particular selector. Okay, so a single or simple way of answering difference between partial selector and full selector is partial selector will not contain its application selector as parent. Full selector will have application selector in the parent. Let me give you more examples on this. Now in this particular Excel, in this particular calculator, so the complete calculator is the parent. Okay, in that all the elements are children elements. Okay, first, okay, if you want to tell in detail, Mayank, please unmute.
Yes, sir.
Uh, Guys, listen the conversation very carefully, very important. Mayank, now you are working, I do understand that. So if you want to introduce to your relatives who can be like your uncle, aunt, okay, so how will you introduce to them? Can you just say that, okay, I am Mayank, and they will be able to understand who you are?
Yeah, I yes, sir. No need to more explain.
If they didn't met you till now?
We will introduce with our parents' name, like I'm so and so, my son of my father. Like I will introduce with his name.
Okay, but if your father want to introduce to your like if they already know who your father is, and can they just introduce them that I am Mayank? Like if you are a parent, and can you just go
Yes.
ahead and say, see, if you want to talk to me, I will, and if I want to introduce myself, how I will introduce. My name is Vajrang. I will not tell about my parents, right?
Yes,
So
right.
I have a different identity here. And in the same way, if you want to introduce to me, then you will talk only about you, but not your parents.
Yes, sir.
If you are capable of, or if you can identify yourself without others' help, then you are a full selector.
Okay.
Okay. But if you need someone others' help, okay, and for example, if you don't know me, okay, then someone will say you can go to Vajrang, and you will ask who is Vajrang. Then they will come back and say you that he will train you on UiPath. Then you can say that okay, now my selector, my parent became UiPath, and I am a partial selector over here.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay, so in the same way, if I want to, okay, come back to our application, everyone. If I want to click on 5, if I have every detail that is related to 5, then 5 is a full selector.
Full selector.
Okay, but if you see in our code, we don't have complete details in this particular selector. We have only the details regarding to number pad. We don't have application details. So is this a full selector or a partial selector?
Partial selector.
Right. So what if I want to give a full selector? Okay. Now this question goes to Vicky Sharma. Vicky,
In case of full selector, it has to be selected on the top hierarchy.
exactly. So you need to come, like you need to be self-sufficient. Okay. What if I don't have this? Okay. If I just have it outside attach window. Okay. Is this selector valid? Now just see. Is this selector validated? Guys, can you understand? Is this selector validated or not?
No, it's not validated.
No. But if you are selecting it with 5, yes, recreate it. I will recreate it. Now, can you see this? It is having the complete details along with the application. It is having all the details. Okay, now are you able to understand what is the difference between full selector and the partial selector? If you have a parent, and from parent are you, if you are coming in and traversing to the child, then you are using a full selector. But if you are using only the child, but you have parent scope on the top, okay, what if your parent introduces you? Okay, your parent introduces you that he is Vicky Sharma, my son. Then there is no need for separate identity for you, right? You are already identified. Okay, now I already have my parent over here, and I am saying that I am a child of that particular parent. Now this is valid. Guys, are you able to get it or not?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, sounds good. So now we have button 1 and button 2. Now we also need to, okay, let's run this flow. Let's see what's happening and all, because there are a lot of things that we are talking about. Debug. I have turned on highlight activities, so this will show highlight activities. Attach window. It is clicking on one. It is clicking on one again. Again, it will click on one. So there is no logic that's written. For every row, we are just clicking on one and one. Okay. So can we stop? Did you understand what have we done till now? Okay, now here comes the interesting part. Now what if I have this in multiple files? For example, I have team 7, right? There is a new file or a new sequence that I'm using, and this is a sequence 2. And even in here, I need to use this particular code. Listen carefully. I need to use this code. So I'll copy and paste it. Okay. I have one more file. I'll create one more file. Add sequence 3, and I will create it. So even in here, I will, so this is my requirement, or I have written the code in such a way that this particular 1 and 1 should be used at multiple places. Okay, now my client came and said that, okay, now this is not 1, this is 2 that you need to click. Now, how many places do you need to change this particular button? Josna says 3. Just give out answer in the chat, please. Josna, can you please unmute?
3, sir.
Thank you so much. Josna,
Hello? Yes, sir.
thank you so much for the answer, Josna. Now,
Yes.
why is it? And Amika says 3, 2. Yeah, tell me, why is that 3?
Sir, we have three workflow, and in three workflow, we are using same one button. So we need to change if some changes occurring further. So we need to change in three workflow three times.
Exactly. Now I need to go into this and I need to change. Okay, I have this one. So I'll use edit selector and I'll indicate the element again. And okay, I think the attach window is closed. So attach. So we have calculator. Why calculator is closed? Okay, so indicate element. Okay, now I need to click on 8. So let's say that my number is changed to 8 now. Okay, highlight element. Okay, it's clicking on 8. Let's click on OK. So now this, I need to move it to 3 different places. Is it right? I need to delete
Yes, sir.
this one.
Yes.
I need to add it over here. I need to go into this. I need to delete over here and I need to add it. Okay. So let's say that okay, it's fine with 3, but what if there are 50 places where we use this? There are situations that will be there. Don't think that we will not have it. We will have those situations. And what will you do? So that's when this object repository came in place. This came in place after 2000 version, 2020 version. And if I want to use click activity, I can use the modern modern activities. But the thing is, I need to use attach application or window or attach window or attach browser.
President,
Yes, tell me.
what I'm asking is that here manually in the configurator we are clicking the values like 1, 2, 3, 4. So like we are pre-assuming that we know the value, but actually the values are coming from Excel sheet. So we should not click everywhere manually. It should automatically take from Excel and it should do the activity, right?
True.
So for that we are using the object repository, correct?
No.
Because every time we cannot manually click on the value, right? Because
Yes,
it should
so
go to
we
100
cannot
and it
click
should
on
validate.
we cannot click on it. So for that we have dynamic selector, but object this particular object repository is completely a different concept.
Okay.
Okay, so if you add 5 in here, you will still get 5 only. Okay, so if you see here, you will still get 5. So what is this saying? It should be inside use application or browser activity. Use application or browser activity. So this is not attach window now. They are asking us to use attach window or application or browser. So these are modern activities now you are using. So I can use 5. I can just get on click. Okay, I can just use 9. I can just add click. So now what we are doing, we are using this one. Now what if I change, okay, let me just add object repository. So this is the calculator. Okay, now if I have added it or if I have updated it in 3 different places, let's say that here sequence 1, sequence 2, and in this. Okay, now see, this is 5, right? Now in every place this is 5 if you observe. Okay, now if I want to change 5, I need not change 5 here, but I can update my activity here. Edit element. Okay, and let's see, I can object require, yes, object repository requires modern activities. That's correct. Create element. Okay, so element we are having a type, description, new element. Okay, I think I can create or indicate the element. So edit element, edit descriptor. Okay, now it is checking that, okay, this is 5. It is checking. But if I want to change this, I can change it. So what is the target element that I can have? So I can just remove this one and I can say, okay, not that. Now you need to go ahead and click on F3 and F4. So instead of 5, it should be divided by. Okay, now if I confirm and if I save it, okay, so can you see that the details are also updated over here in 5, sequence 5. Now how many places did we change this one?
One.
How many places did we change?
Only one.
Exactly. So will it get reflected in each and every places that we use this one?
Yes.
So that those are the advantages that are coming in with modern activities. So if someone asks you, have you used object repository? Yes, I have used object repository in my latest project. Don't say that you have been using object repository for the past 5-6 projects, because this is new. So yes, we are working with object repository and we have created only one. The main use of object repository is that we can create the UI elements separately as libraries and we can import them in our workflow. If there is a change in UI library in future, we can just upgrade it rather than changing it in 100 places in our code. Did I answer your question, or did I answer my question first thing? Object repository. Did you understand it now? What is object repository and how we are using it? Yes, no, all right. Please go ahead and give it in the chat.
Yes.
Okay. So one last thing that I will come over here, which is dynamic selector. See, um, we need to, let's go back. We need to click on one button, or see, there can be multiple buttons that we can click. First, we need to click on, I'm coming back again. Sequence 2, sequence 3 goes away. We're coming back to our calculator use case. Okay, and here we need to click on different buttons, right? We need to click on first one if it is one, if it is two, we need to click on two. That's what we need to do. Is it right or not? Edit selector, and what I'll do is, can you see here number 8? Okay, what if I change this to number 9? Validate. Now where is it clicking on? Guys, you need to unmute and talk.
It's directing to number 9 on the calculation tab now.
Okay, if I change this to 0, then what it will do?
Accordingly, it will select that particular item.
So if I just click on validate and if I click on highlight, so where is it clicking on? 0. So
On 0.
these are dynamic. So we need to give this number dynamically. So how can we do that? Let's give out two values, multiple assign, control K, int, or you can say str first number. Okay, and str second number. So what's the first number that's coming in? Current row of 0.
Yes.
Current row of 0, and this is current row of 1. Okay, so we are just assigning the values to current row of 0 and current row of 1. Let's go and give it up. Okay, so what we have done till now, we just have read the Excel and then we assigned it back to two variables. Other than that, nothing. Now here comes the dynamic part. If you go back to our code here, so we need to click on.
Bajrang, I have one question here. We can directly apply in edit selector. Like we don't need to create assign activity. We can direct apply like current row part
Yes, we
in
can do
edit
that.
selector.
We can do that. Okay, so right click and use variable. I'm just using a variable.
Plus plus.
So here is the first number and confirm. So can you see now we have number and this first number will come dynamically and then we'll click on OK. And here let's go ahead and give edit selector. Still we will have errors. Can anyone tell me what kind of errors can we get while we are doing this? So here, by the way, what is the number that we need to add over here? Right click, use variable. Which one should we add? First number, second number, or result?
Second number.
Second number, confirm, confirm. So what we can do, just go ahead and debug this one, just see if it is working or not in our calculator. It will attach window. It's clicking on 1, clicking on 1 again. Now it's clicking on 2. So in the Excel, we have 2 plus 2 or 2 into 2, something like that. Now here comes the part. Why is it not able to click the next one? Have you seen the input file?
Alphabetical.
If you go ahead and check in the input file, see this is throwing an error. What kind of error is it throwing? It is saying that we have number pad on the top, we have number 2 and name is 1. If you can stop over it, it's not alphabet, but what exactly have happened is we have invalid item over here. You want to select second number, but you have given name is 1. If you remove this, then it will work. Okay, so this is correcting of our selectors. Let's go and debug it again. One plus 1, 1 and 1. Now 2 and 2. Okay, 3 and 3. Ravi Party Balaji. Okay, we cannot add external members. Let's cancel them. So what's happening next? We have 3 plus 3. Then what's happening?
we need to get the result.
But we have completed. Have we completed the requirement? Have we completed the sum, or have we completed the product?
Yeah, we need to click on operand part, sir.
Exactly. So what we'll do, we'll stop it here. Okay. So I'll give you the code. I'll send you the code in zip file. Ravi Teja. Okay. Ravi, can you please unmute and talk once? Ravi? Send to a zip file. Okay. I'll give this zip file in the Teams channel. Okay, in the files. Go ahead and use it and complete the workflow for yourself. File. So I'll just add a week 1 folder. Okay, we have team notes. Just unzip and use this file. So tomorrow we are going to see about GitHub. So let me just write it in the posts. So what exactly tomorrow we'll see? We'll see GitHub. Okay. Balaji, you need to please unmute and talk. Don't join in external members, please, as external members. Okay, fine. So we have tomorrow with GitHub, and that date is 11 Feb 2022. Okay, all I want you to do is for GitHub, and I will tell you why we need to use GitHub tomorrow. But go to github.com, GitHub download, and download this application, please. Okay, I'm giving you the link. Download this application and come back for tomorrow. Sorry. How many of you know how to use GitHub and all? Please tell yes or no in the chat. The chat, yes, a bit, never used. Okay, no. So in our organization, we will use GitHub only to send the code across. Now we are sending the code in the Teams channel, right? I'm zipping it and sending to you. But from tomorrow, we will not have GitHub. Sorry, we will not have zip file, but we will use only GitHub to work on. So be ready. Okay, application. So just quick recap would help. How many of you know what's what? Vicky, can you tell me what is the difference between Excel and workbook activities? Guys, by the way, the training is completed. If you want to leave, please leave. But yeah, if you want to stay, please stay. You will learn more. Yes, Vicky?
In Excel, that Excel has to be installed in the system, and in Workbook, it need not to be installed in your system. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, if you are saying that only one answer, then the interview will be gone. Okay, be specific. Okay, Ritesh, what are the different emails activities that we have, and what have you used?
We have four activities in the email.
That's wrong.
First one is
That's wrong. 4 activities are wrong.
okay.
4 types of activities, you can say.
Okay. sorry, there are four types of activity in the emails. First one is SMTP, POP, Outlook, and the last one is
Where is the last
I
one?
forgot.
Exchange.
Exchange. Sorry. So in the SMTP, we can send the emails without Outlook.
Mhm.
In the POP, we can only read the emails. In the Outlook activities, we must have to install the Outlook in our system, so we can interact with the Outlook applications, and we can send and receive the emails.
Okay.
We can move the emails and even delete the emails.
Okay.
And in the Exchange,
So in Exchange also you can do the same as Outlook, but you do not have Excel Outlook installed in your machine.
got it.
Okay. So you
Yeah.
can filter the emails and all. You can do that. Just check out that. Okay. And Val, can you please unmute? Val, are you there? Yeah, I can. I'm not able to hear you, Val. Can you please talk a bit louder? Okay. If you're not able to talk, then let's go with Amol. Amol? Okay. I'm not sure how many of you know, but if you're not able to unmute, I normally uh, move people away from the meeting. Amol, please join back with your audio turned on. Thank you. Okay. Arpita? Arpita, can you please unmute? Okay, Arpita, please join back with your audio turned on. And Chandrika? Chandrika, please talk.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Vishnu.
Chandrika, what is object repository and have you used it in your projects?
Uh, I have just started working on UiPath, so I am not complete aware of object repository, but although today's session helped me to understand that.
So what if this is an
Uh,
interview and answer it according to an interview?
okay. Object repository is a new feature added in UiPath. So in my recent project, we have not used object repository.
Okay.
Recently, it was used in the latest project. So using object repository, what we can do is if the code just a minute. Suppose we have a different code, like different sequence written in a program, and which is the replica of each other. And if any changes has to be made in that replica, like using the click options, so the using this object repository, the change done in one sequence can be used in the other sequence. The other sequence will get updated. The data in the other sequence will get updated.
One small correction. So it's not only about click, it's about type into or anything. It's just the element.
Activity.
So you are selecting the activity. It's not activity. You're selecting the element and you're storing it with all the details and you're giving it as a reference at different places.
Okay.
Okay. Done. So that's how object repository will be there. It's a repository. Okay, it's the place where all the elements will be stored or selectors will be stored. From there, you are giving references.
Okay.
Okay. So, by the way, nice try. And if I ask you some question, answer it in a way if as if this is an interview.
Okay. Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks.
Vadrang, may I ask a question, please?
Yeah, tell me, please.
About this repository, is it only about UI elements? Yes?
Yes, this is UI object repository. It's not about anything else.
Okay. And what is the scope for accessing these elements in this repository? Is it the code that we are doing only?
So it will be accessible only in the current project.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Vicky Sharma.
Yes, please.
Okay. So what are the differences? What are selectors? And explain about them.
Okay, selectors are the element on your application or on the website which you can use to access or do some particular operation on that particular application or to get some data from the website. So selectors are different type of partial selector and a full selector. So in partial selector, if you are selecting some element inside some application which is already selected, so it will be partial selector. And if you are selecting in first time and it is the parent activity, so it will be full selector. In dynamic selector, you can use variables and modify the selector as per the requirement. And in wildcard selector, yeah, obviously you can if only one character is getting changed, so you can use a question mark. If a string is getting changed, you can use star in wildcard selector.
Okay. What are the? Do we have any other types of selectors?
This much only I know about selector.
So there are multiple other things as well. These are case-sensitive selectors, okay, and the dynamic selectors, fuzzy, regex, and case-sensitive selectors. So just go ahead and see what are these as well. Okay.
Okay, I'll prepare this both question.
Yeah. So just add some data in this in our document. Okay. I think there are multiple things that came in. So let's just copy. Yep. And then notepad. Okay. For today, our meeting is completed. If you have any questions, you can still stay or else you can leave. I hope you understand the meeting. So see, when I say calculator, it's not only about calculator. Just please understand that and work. Yep.
I have one question. Can we export that object repository if we are creating for SAP? So can I export that and use in some other project and some other department?
No, for this project you can use, you cannot export it. For example, if you have this object repository, okay, and okay, I think you can do that. Extract as UI library project. That's what it is telling, but I haven't used it till now. Let's see. Just try it out. If possible, show us some result tomorrow. I
Okay.
haven't used it, by the way. Okay.
And please, from technical point of view, what is the format that these objects in the repository stored and maintained?
So
Is
objects in
it
objects in the repository are maintained in the same way how we are maintaining with the files. Like if you want to commit something or if you want to save something, see here. You have descriptors over here and you have UI activities where you have used these particular values. So in sequence 2, you have used these particular selectors. And in sequence 2, you have again used this. For example, if I use something activities or if I go with project and if I go with sequence 2 and if I bring in some other item, for example, attach window, and if I use go to object repository and if I go to descriptors and I open this one and I just add 6 in it. Okay, I just add 6 in it, or I can use click activity as well. Let's go ahead and delete this. Okay, this is coming as read only somehow. Not sure why. Let me just close it and save it. Okay, the main thing is if you want to update or anything, you can still do that. Bree, what is your exact question?
Actually, my concern is about the type of what we understand by repository elements. Is this concept of repository just an only kind of a folder within the project where we find files of code, the same as in the other part of the project, or is it compiled in any way, or and then
Got your point.
yeah.
So see, there are different ways. Objects are like they are selectors. Okay. So in the project, if you see, there should be something with the objects. So in the objects, you have Rn, and in here, these data is getting stored. There is no need to check each and every item in it, but this is the way. Dot content is the way how the data is getting stored. It's compiled as a library and it's getting stored.
Okay.
Okay.
And in terms of usage for us, um, is it enough to understand that this repository is simply a question of organization of the code, so that we are all in that place, the pieces of code for elements which we want to be working as a repository.
So
Is
here,
it this only?
so this is not a code. These are only the elements. Okay. You need to still write the code in the XML files or the sequence.
Okay.
But you need to import these. So for example, if you have a .NET library, you cannot use the .NET library as is. You need to import them and then use them. Is it right or not? Or in VB, or if there is any library. See, library is a code that you need to import it in some place and you need to execute it, right?
Indeed. Yes.
Now, in the same way, object repository are elements. There is no activity on it. So you need to import them in your code and you need to give the activity for them. If you want to click on it or if you want to type on it, you just need to give it on them.
Okay.
Okay. So
Yeah.
just work on it once, then you will be able to understand more on that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Okay, guys, thank you so much, everyone, for joining in till now. And then you can disconnect. But I'll stay. You can still ask me questions.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Rio.
Have a good day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Basant,
Thank you.
like in interview, if asked what is the object repository, we can say directly object repository is a kind of repository where we can store all the element whenever
UI elements.
we have a requirement.
Yes, UI elements.
UI element, sorry. Whenever we have a requirement to change, we can change at once, and all the changes will reflect at a time.
Yeah, that's correct. Okay.
Vasant, can you explain this attach window?
Okay, attach window is simple. Instead of opening a calculator, normally what we will do is see, you cannot have click element directly, right? If you click it, if you keep it outside, what's happening? Okay, I think this is the reason. Okay, if you keep it outside, it's throwing an error that this is not a correct selector. Is it not? It's not valid, is it right?
Yes.
Now what attach window will do, it will first attach the parent and then it will give you the access.
Okay. Is there any activity that like to open an application? Like
Yeah,
if I want to open
so
an
there are
Excel.
multiple ways. So you have open Excel, open application or start application, open application or browser. The second thing is you can start a process. Using start a process also, you can still start an application.
Okay.
Or you can also use code, invoke code. And invoke code, you can add code to open some applications. So there are multiple ways, by the way. That's
Okay.
okay.
So this attach window is similar to those activities.
No, attach window will attach the already existing item. It will not open anything.
Yeah.
For this attach window, that exe or that application has to be kept open.
Correct.
Prior to this run. Okay.
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. Guys, questions?
Thanks, Vijay. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, actually you added a internal transcript file in the files, right? RK10.7.
Correct.
I thought it was deleted by someone or not. I didn't even find it. Can you please upload it again?
See, that's not in Team 7. It will be there in general folder.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
General folder, 5, and live interview questions, mock interview transcript.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, where are these stuff? Interview question.
It's in general folder.
Let me
You
see.
have access for general folder. Everyone will have access for general folder.
Yeah, okay, I got it. Thank you.
Balram, have you uploaded this code in files?
Which code?
The right now that we practice.
Yeah, I have given a zip file, right?
Okay.
In Team 7, there is a zip file. Just go ahead and check and come back. So here is the zip file, week 7 calculator use case. Okay, bye everyone.
Thank you, Vijay.
Bye, sir. Thank you.